Hey, hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to this Sunday night special stream and the first ever for the channel. And thank you so much for tuning in. My name's Mike from Did You See That? And today I'm joined by my co-host Jamie Lee from In the Front Row. So hi Jamie, thanks for joining and being a co-host. For anyone who doesn't know you, do you want to just quickly introduce your channel and tell everyone what it's all about?
Yeah, of course. So my channel is In the Front Row, and I do reactions to TV shows and movies. So I do reactions, reviews, and I'm very lucky enough to interview people, actors from things like Stranger Things, Cobra Kai, mostly, The Boys. Yeah, so I'm very lucky enough to speak with people in the industry because I'm not in the industry. So I like to learn about all things film and TV, basically. So yeah, I do that with my interviews, which is really fun.
Yeah, awesome. And yeah, the link to Jamie Lee's channel is in the description box below. She's killing it right now, and she is my co-host on this first ever on the channel, which big thank you to Oscar and Jade Wenman-Hyde, by the way, for getting in touch, asking to kind of give this opportunity to premiere Love with Black Spots for the first time ever, which is so awesome. So yeah, I'm going to go through everyone who's on the stream one by one. We'll learn a little bit about them. So yeah, Oscar and Jade Wenman-Hyde, firstly, hi guys, thanks for joining the stream. And Oscar, pleasure having you back on the stream since Cycles last time that we spoke.
Yeah, 100%, Mike. I mean, I had so much fun when we did the Cycles Q&A with you. And like, because we've been in touch ever since, it just felt like such a cool thing to do and to try, you know. And I'm just really pleased we get to be here and get to do this with you and with you, Jamie Lee, and have a bunch of us together for this big event. It's not, you know, it's not often with a short film that you get to do big releases, but we've been lucky this weekend to have loads of great content to put out on social media. We had a Blackpool Film Festival selection last night, and now we get to premiere the film for free to everyone who's been waiting to see it. So yeah, we're really grateful. Jay, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello.
And your many roles.
I'll just go for the main ones. I don't know if I can remember them all by heart. That sounds really cocky. I don't know. So I'm Jade. I'm Oscar's wife. We did this project together, so we wrote it and produced it together. And then my main role was continuity, but I did have a few others. So I was the intimacy coach. I did the catering. I was a ladybird wrangler, which we wonder if is the first time that's been used. And I
probably the last time.
Yeah, probably. And I also did like costume, wardrobe. I think that's it. Maybe.
Wow, no, that's awesome, and yeah, definitely got some questions about like the ladybug wrangler and stuff as well.
I didn't know that was a title, but there you go.
Right. No, we made it up, especially. Yeah.
We don't want to make it so like broad as to like insects because it was very specifically ladybirds. So we were like, let's just plug that in as like a whole thing on its own. So
right.
Sure.
But yeah, like it was. I think like also if anyone's up for it on a Sunday night, it's a very fun drinking game in the credits. Every time Jade's name comes up, you know, because when you see it, it's often. But no, like yeah, she did all that, and then we co-wrote it together and co-produced it, and then I directed, and it was just a blast. And it's been such an amazing, wholesome journey, full of so many firsts, and yeah, just really excited.
Right. Yeah, well, it's great to hear from you guys and the roles that Jade had as well. Yeah, when I saw them credits, I was talking to Jamie Lee before, and she mentioned, she's like, how many times has Jade popped up here? I was like, yeah, quite a lot.
It's actually like cringe when it happens. A bit like it's cool, but at the same time, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm a bit fed up of seeing my name now. Like, let's just skip on past that.
Yeah, but the thing is, you know, it's so cool to see like how many different things you contributed in this movie. And the movie itself is only like 30 minutes, like 50 seconds long as well. So, you know, it's great to see that. So yeah, Oscar, great to have you back. Jade's great to meet you for the first time, and great to have director and writers here. We've also got the cinematographer, which is, if I can point right way, Joshy Lee right here.
I was just celebrating. I was hyping him up.
Rainy bunching it up.
I still can't get it right. There we go. There's Joshy Lee. So yeah, Joshy, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting out there and letting people see and hear what they think.
Right. Yeah, and it's awesome. We've got yourself the cinematographer in this movie. We're going to talk to you a little bit later about kind of challenges you faced and stuff like that. But yeah, Joshy, welcome to the stream. I'm not going to do any more pointing because the arrows keep going the wrong way. But next up, we've got the supporting cast also of Bailey Dowler, who plays Red. So, Bailey, how are you?
Hello, yes, I'm good, thank you. Yes, I am Bailey, and I played the role of Red in Love with Black Spots. Yeah, I really enjoyed playing Red. Good time.
Right. And throughout the movie, which we're about to see, you are basically Saffron Walter's character Isla's best friend or like co-worker.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So we were, kind of on and off screen as well. We got a really great relationship. So yeah, I act as Isla's best friend, my character Red. We're best friends in the film. We work together. And yeah, I like to think that Red kind of brings like some downtime and like a bit of release from the tension of the relationship throughout the film.
Right.
Yeah. Good fun.
Yeah, definitely couldn't agree more with that. And and the scenes that you're in, they're pretty fun, and you bring that like energy to that as well. So we're gonna see that, and we've got questions for you as well. But last but not least introduced is Oliver Harden, who plays Jack in the movie. So Oliver, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. I play Jack. I'm the tension, so Bailey's the relief, and I'm the complete opposite of that. But no, it's really great to be here, and also great to be here with Bailey, Joshy, Oscar, and Jade, because it's been a real team project, and it's good to kind of celebrate the opening of that with the team and with you guys as well. So thanks for having us.
You legend.
He knows how to say it right, doesn't he?
Right. Well, yeah. Well, honestly, Oliver, it's an absolute pleasure to have you and have you all. Jamie's showing some comments here of what we've got. So we've got some people already waiting. We've got 20 people watching live right now. So thank you to every single person watching live right now. And yeah, Jamie, do you have any questions before we show like any the pre-made video from Saffron?
Not before, no. It's all about the film, so I'll wait till after. Yeah.
I'm feeling tension just for these questions, guys.
The pressure is on.
Twisted right now. I'm just like, and I'm smiling so much that my cheeks are, but I don't know what else to do with my face.
I'm just worried we're being stitched up, and then these questions just going to rip into us.
No, as Mike said, there's 24 people watching, and everything in the comments, everyone's really excited to watch it and see what you guys have created.
Cool.
Right. And yeah, I can't wait to show it. And I just want to say also, for anyone who wasn't aware, I have spoke to Oscar before on his movie Cycles. So this is the second time we're kind of collaborating, and Cycles was so great. I left the link to that in the description box below if you want to check out Oscar's feature movie. Definitely worth a watch. But yeah, without further ado, everyone's here to watch the movie. Everyone's probably sick of me prattling on. So, Jamie, do you want to show a pre-made video what we got from Saffron Walters, who plays Isla, who unfortunately couldn't be in the stream tonight, but did leave a message?
Yeah, no dramas.
Hello and welcome to the online premiere of Love with Black Spots. I'm Saffron Walters and I play Isla within the short film. Unfortunately, I can't be there tonight. However, I am there in spirit with my fellow cast and crew, who I'm so proud of. Now, Love with Black Spots is a story about a young couple who have a rather strained relationship. After moving into a new house in a new town, hoping it would fix everything for them, they soon come to realise that not everything is as it seems, and the grass isn't always green on the other side. Their house is in fact infested with ladybirds, and Jack, the boyfriend, manages to swallow one. Now, this film will always hold a special place in my heart, as it is my on-screen debut. But as well as that, it's been a phenomenal experience creating this film, and I've been lucky enough to make friends for life on this journey too. Thank you so much for tuning in. It truly does mean the world to not only myself, but the rest of the cast and crew too. Now, I hope you're sitting comfortably and have some great snacks or a good beverage. Enjoy.
Awesome. So yeah, so great little video there from Saffron. It's a shame she couldn't be here tonight. But I do want to ask to Bailey and Oliver. So this was Saffron's on-screen debut. And was it your guys' on-screen debut also?
Go on, Ollie.
For me, no, not strictly, but I think definitely of something with the the scale, this kind of artistic scope. So it may as well be.
Ouch to the others.
But, it's definitely probably the most important thing, and I'll second Saffron. It was definitely one of the things I'm most proud of. So yeah, I'll lump it in as my on-screen debut. We'll forget about it.
Right.
He just wants that limelight. That's what he
Yeah. Been one up now.
And Bailey, how about you?
I'm going to give them their moment on this one. I won't jump on the bandwagon. So I've done a couple of music videos, and I think this is like my 6th or 7th short film that I've done. So, yeah, so it's not my debut, but certainly one that sticks with me for sure, and definitely a highlight, if not the highlight of my career so far. So, yeah.
Oh,
that's awesome.
I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
So lovely.
Just working with a great director was,
Right.
And the whole cast and crew, it was just perfect harmony, which I loved.
So yeah, don't let us get all the credit.
No.
But one thing I do want to say that I've noticed straight away is last time I spoke with Oscar and we had Henry Fisk and Henry Wilson on for Cycles, like they all had like such a great bond and like such a great experience filming the movie, and it seems like it's like the exact same this time around Love of Black Spots with brand new people. So it's just truly a pleasure to see. And Joshy, was this the first time you're doing cinematography, or have you worked on other projects before?
No, so I've done cinematography before. I mainly direct, and then in between projects I edit or do cinematography. But I've been wanting to work with Oscar for quite a while. We've known each other for 3 years, I want to say 3 years.
Wow. Okay.
And we've been Oscar invited me along to this. It sounded like a great project, and it was kind of hard to say no to, really.
Right.
And hopefully there's some stuff coming up in the future too. We'll see.
Oh. Well, certainly get
before we jump into the film, speaking of the cinematography stuff, I've had a question pop up, so I just want to ask this one from off the cover. Just wanted to ask this. So what camera did you guys film with, and what did you edit with?
So the camera that we used was a Blackmagic 4K with Metabone speed booster, and it was just perfect, small, compact, high dynamic range, beautiful for like a visceral, and the color palette in this film as well is so broad and strong, and it needed to be able to capture that and bring that in. I can't comment on the edit, that wasn't me. But
I can give it a shout out on that. But like our editor Joshua Paynes, worked just as hard as anybody on this film, and it was. I'm sure he would say if he was here, some of the challenges for him was cutting those ladybirds, and finding ways to get them into the film naturally, which was definitely a challenge for him. But like you'll see in a moment, you can make your own minds up on how you feel about it. But for me, he really, really aced it. But he did edit on Premiere Pro. He also did the trailer on that as well, and he's used that for everything, including Cycles that we did before. And
those ladybirds were bloody hard to shoot, I tell you.
and maybe even harder to wrangle.
well, we've got questions about the ladybirds as well, for sure. And we're going to get into that. Just before we show the movie, I just want to invite everyone who's watching live right now to, in the comments, which Jamie can see, leave any questions for Oscar, Joshy, Bailey, or Oliver. And after we've shown the movie, we'll ask those questions as well. But yeah, I think without further ado, let's show the movie. That's what everyone's waiting for. So Jamie, when you're ready, fire it up.
All righty, let's go.
Today felt more like an escape.
Sorry it was such a rush, but at least it's done. What is it?
I'm not complaining. I like it.
See? This is why you should have come to view the house with me in the first place.
Is that everything?
Yeah, it's the last one.
forgot how exhausting moving house was.
Me too. Let's never do it again.
So, this is where we're going to settle.
I don't know. Doesn't have to be. I was just being dramatic.
What do you want to do tomorrow? Do you want to go on a little explore?
I have my first day tomorrow. Remember?
Another day then. Are you nervous?
Not really. Just excited to get started, you know? Finally feel like this is my opportunity to make a difference.
Yeah.
Jack, look. Hey. You know I can always sense you.
In a good way?
Any idea what you should do about these ladybirds yet?
No, but it's quite nice having them around.
Yeah, it is, but it's been weeks and they're not exactly pets. And apparently, when they're scared, they let out
So let's not scare them.
Oh, that's my cue.
Hey, you.
Thanks for picking me up.
It's all right. I've got the essentials.
Lovely. Someone got thirsty.
Well, you know that strawberry's my favourite. Come on, it's a busy day at the office. So we are going to listen to a Britney Spears classic.
Well then.
Hey,
Hey.
I'm going to bed. I'm exhausted.
What about dinner?
I've already eaten with Red. I don't smell, do I?
Why did you draw attention to it?
I'm being serious.
No, you're good. What, your coffee?
Blimey, what's gone into you?
Nothing. But you need it.
Well, thanks. That's sweet of you.
So, what's on the agenda at work today?
Oh, nothing much. Just simple stuff.
Yeah? Go on.
I have to do a survey report on the local wildlife before development starts on the new housing estate.
Yeah. That sounds really simple. Skip work. Spend the day together?
No, I can't. I've only just started. I can't be pulling stickers already, not like the
Good on.
12 days.
Go on. It will be fun.
No, this job means a lot to me. I don't want to blow it.
What could I possibly do to tempt you?
Jack, stop.
Still see you walking in your hat and scarf, the driveway right into my arms. Just a jagged word you spoke, and they cut right out your mouth. When it's all so bitter, can you look back on it now? So what's it really for? Nothing changes for us at all. Now the leaves fall where I park my car. Shadows in the window, some cracks in the wall. So what's it really for? Nothing changes for us at all.
You ready? Ready.
So, what's the matter?
Oh, it's nothing. It's just, I feel like me and Jack have become unhealthily in sync.
I thought you said things were better than ever.
They are. That's the problem. We came at the same time the other night. You have no idea how big of a deal that is.
Stop being so ungrateful. I'm getting to the point where I pay someone for an orgasm. Stop creating problems.
I hate to admit this. I always thought this movie would be a way to help our relationship. And now that it has, it just doesn't seem right.
Maybe you're just overthinking things. You're allowed to be happy, Isla.
Guess it just feels wrong for things to be right, you know?
If I was you, I'd milk it. Come on, let's try this place. Just speak to Jack later. I'm sure things are all right.
Jack,
Isla.
can we talk?
Yeah, sure. What about?
I just want to know what's going on between us.
What do you mean? Better than ever.
Exactly.
So what's the problem?
I don't know. I guess I just can't cope with the way we've been. It's not us.
We're not teenagers anymore.
I know. So why have you suddenly become the person who you used to be?
Isn't that what you always wanted?
I thought I did. But I don't fit with that person anymore. I've changed too. It just took me a while to realise.
Okay. What are you trying to say?
I don't know, Jack. I guess I'm sorry. Sorry for moving us here.
Don't be. I would have always followed you.
That's the problem.
How?
I hardly recognise you anymore. I mean, who even are you these days? Because I don't know who I am anymore. All this change, it's been doing us no good. I thought this house was going to help us, to save us. But I was wrong. It's just a house. Nothing here feels like a home. I never thought that I would feel this way. I'm aching, Jack. I just want to feel a love that isn't forced.
I know. I guess a part of me just kept us going out of fear. Out of not knowing what life would be like without you.
We've been living in denial for years. We moved into a house that's riddled with ladybirds. But yet somehow that gave us hope. We're pulling at straws.
look at us now. Pretending not to care for it. God only knows. I look into your eyes. Cause I'm not falling. Ain't that the truth? And love's not a good thing. Won't you know that by now? I'm looking for someone to care.
Sorry, is that my internet?
Hey, we got the whole world, don't worry.
Sorry, guys.
Perfect timing, really.
I didn't pause it early. My internet decided to freeze right on Joshy there. Sorry, guys.
Freeze frame on the king.
Yeah. Did you want me to continue with the credits or?
No,
never mind.
We're good. We're good, Jamie Lee. Don't you worry. We got the film down. We got the film.
No dramas. I'll take that off there.
Well, awesome. Well, yeah, so that is the kind of exclusive of Love with Black Spots for the first time ever. Yeah, I was kind of waiting for the credits there to keep seeing Jade's name pop up and everyone could see how many times. Because I didn't keep count. But yeah, Jamie, yeah, should have shown some comments here. Sophie, I've seen that was brilliant, guys. So thank you for watching, Sophie. Josh, giving the big round of applause. That's awesome. Yeah, Jamie, have you got any other comments? Just nice.
Yeah.
Nice, great job.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, there's quite a lot.
Love to see reception.
Oh, that's George Crabtree. Woo!
Yeah, shout out to the maestro.
Right. Yeah, because I was going to say, Oscar, I know George, he was a composer on Cycles also.
Yeah, and like in Cycles, he managed to make the cut too, didn't he? You know, in that final scene, we got him on screen. But for this one, I think it's just he writes such hearty, meaningful songs, which, and there's something magic about George's process because when I send him the materials, I literally just send him a little pitch pack, like what I've sent you in the past, Mike, and I always say, "Oh, here's the script too. It'll probably help to read the script." And then usually he never bothers to read the script, and he just gets it right. He doesn't know what the scenes are. He doesn't know what's happening. He just gets it right. Like in Cycles, for example, those people that have seen it, the first line of the song he wrote is "At my window, the rain and clouds are shadows of my dark place." But he didn't know the last shot in the film is younger brother looking out the window. That was all by chance. And then like in Love with Black Spots, it lands exactly on the garden scene when he's cutting the leaves. And George's line is "when the leaves fall." And all of that is chance. And I don't know how this guy does it. I want some of that magic energy, but it's really something and really special when Josh Paynes puts it together in the edit and everything just clicks. It's crazy.
Oh, look, some love for Jack in the comments.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing. First, I just want to thank everyone who's watching live right now and everyone who's leaving all the love and support for Oscar and Jade, Joshy, Bailey, and Oliver and Saffron as well, who can't be here. Yeah, so that's the third time that I've seen the movie now. And yeah, that is actually a good point by Chosen One. So my first question actually is for Oscar and Jade. So this movie is 13 minutes and 50 seconds long. What way did you guys come up with that kind of time length? Or did you have maybe like a full hour of footage you could have used? Or how did that process work?
Do you want to start or shall I start?
I'll let you answer
right,
okay. I'm not fully sure.
I think like short films are really difficult. And no matter how many short films you do, they're really, really hard. To cram 3 meaningful acts, which aren't overstuffed into like a 15-minute film is tough. And like I struggle immensely with short films and don't necessarily like doing them, to be honest. I loved Love with Black Spots because this story came naturally, but I can't see myself being an avid short filmmaker. So if you liked it, that might be all. but like with this film and coming out that length, I mean, it came for, this might answer a further question. I don't know what you got planned, but I'm going to go into story a little bit. I mean,
Sure.
at our old flat where we used to live,
You're really spoiling a potential question here, I think.
oh, it's the right time.
Go cross that one off the list.
At our old flat, basically, I don't know where they came from. There must have been a crack in the wall or the floorboards. It was a very old building, and ladybirds would crawl up my bedside table and be around my lamp. And progressively, more and more ladybirds started turning up on my bedside table.
You did actually have one in your wall.
Yeah, like they do in the film for Jack. And then I woke up one morning and one was floating in my glass of water. And that just like always stuck with me. And it was like, you know, the writer in me and the filmmaker, my imaginative brain was like, oh, what would happen if I swallowed a ladybird? And, you know, and even in the film, even though we keep that very subtle, and even without like not reading the log line, you know, you wouldn't necessarily put two and two together, but that was a big part of the intention behind it. You know, it's just a what if. Only certain people's brains would think the ladybird has an impact. But we thought that was really fun to explore. And, you know, speaking of that short film structure and length, you know, that's the story we wanted to tell. And like from watching that film, I hope it came across, but like the bulk of what's happened to Jack and Isla has already happened before the film starts. You know, the whole film is about last-ditch efforts, you know, and not wanting to let go and pushing things too far, so then it kind of hurts more. You know, I mean, yes, Jack and Isla managed to end it mutually, which is really nice, but this story had to be kept short, in our opinion, didn't it? Because at heart, it was simple. It was a universal thing, and it was like trying to bring a familiar setting, a familiar story about love, and putting a unique twist on it with the ladybirds. And you know, that's what we tried to do, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's very hard to try. I think for us, it was like trying to do this in a short film, but also make it feel like complete enough, but also trying to stick to a compact time. Because obviously, like Oscar said, a lot of this stuff with them has already happened. So trying to make their love seem as we wanted it, like it was a long-term relationship and this is their last sort of chance. But also then trying to complete that bit of having the bit of conflict, having the good bit, and then finally come to the ultimate breakup anyway. In sort of like 14 minutes was one challenge, I suppose, in the writing phase. That it was quite hard at times, to lots of editing and sort of picking out thoughts and stuff. So
Right. Yeah, and I think you can kind of tell that as well, because I was saying to Jamie Lee before the stream, I was like, it seems as if they've been together for like a long time. Although we only get like snippets of like seeing that throughout the movie, it seems like they've maybe had some like trials and tribulations throughout this relationship. One quick side question I've got before I fire it over to Jamie Lee for a question. Oliver, how hard was it to cry on command, or did you have an onion in the
5 onions.
Very glad you asked that. As Oscar, Jade, Bailey, and Josh, you know, that's a very proud moment for me. I don't shut up about it, so goodbye the rest of the stream. But
yeah, he would have brought it up himself if you didn't.
I think sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's not, but it's a story that everyone knows in some way, shape, or form. It's a level of emotion that everyone understands, and that definitely I understand. It's the kind of the holding on and but then the understanding that you need to let go, and then that's putting myself in that headspace, kind of even gently. It's not a long leap to get to tears, so it really wasn't that difficult. But I don't think I can take that much credit for it. I think it's just the story, the setup, the way that it all comes together, and it just felt right in that moment for me. So
right. Yeah, that's awesome. Because I was going to say, like, in terms of like crying, I'd have to have like an onion in my hand or something. But that's just me anyway. But yeah, Jamie, what question do you have?
I have a question about the ladybugs, and I asked Mike before the stream. I was like, "Is this like a UK thing? Because here in Australia, I don't want to say they're quite rare, but to have that many that you did in the film, you know, in one place at one time is pretty rare. So I was like, do you think that they caught them, or like, was that CGI? How did that work? Because you did see them moving. So my question is, how did you wrangle the ladybugs?
Should I?
Yeah, take it away. You're the ladybird lady.
You're the wrangler.
So the like wrangling part, I suppose, was like through the process of actually filming. So we did actually you can actually order ladybirds as part of like gardening and stuff like that. People order it for gardening.
Yeah, they're pest control to look after plants. So they eat aphids, so your plants don't die, basically. So you can go to garden centres and pick them up, or they can come to your house. Yeah.
From like, so we did that, and we bought like a really good package so we could like get loads of food with it. They had a little ladybird house ready for like when we released them after, and then we had food, and then I mean they came a bit earlier than planned, so we had to actually keep them solidly alive for 2 weeks before shoot.
We got very attached.
We did get attached. We would be
like our
cleaning
little
them,
children.
like, yeah, and we were like, oh look, they're getting so big. Like we'd get so excited, like seeing how much bigger they were getting, and like. Yeah, so it was the process of doing that originally, and then yeah, we had them all set up in their little house, and then we bought some like raisins and stuff for them, and then we had the food. We had to like wet bits of toilet paper so they could drink but not drown, and like there was a lot of research that went into sort of looking after ladybirds in the process. So that was sort of the sense for how we actually got the ladybirds, and then yeah, that's kind of it.
Wow, that's awesome. Like I know, like from personal experience, like say sometimes in the summer here and like in the parks, like you might see one in the ground. So sometimes you like pick it up like the finger and then it'll fly off eventually. But for you guys to like look after them for like weeks.
Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks in the end. It was very stressful because we we're absolute animal lovers. So we were like, there is no way any of these are not allowed to die. Like this is not. If we're gonna have them for this film,
insects are just scary though, aren't they? Because you don't. An insect's very fragile, and it's hard to understand an insect's lifespan.
No.
So it was just doing a lot of research, wasn't it?
And
really?
they're not commonly, obviously, pets, and we kind of treated them as pets for 2 weeks.
Yeah, they ate like kings, didn't they?
Yeah, honestly, they had a good time. Like we'd go out to our garden like every other day, getting them fresh leaves, getting them fresh everything. Like we were cleaning them out like every other day, and yeah, no, they did live a wildly king life.
But like in terms of wrangling them, like when that was happening on set, like you'll notice in the scenes with the ladybirds, it's all low light situations. So if any ladybird flew away from someone's hand or wherever they were on set, they just went to the light. So it was very easy to just go and get them and bring them back or put them safely back in the terrarium.
I think also that was like a very important thing, like was like because my main I don't ever want to spoil questions of futures. I'm worried about saying too much, but like one of my main things was one, making sure they all stay alive, and two, not losing any. Also because I didn't suddenly want an actual infestation because it was filmed in our house, so I didn't want that to happen. So yeah, it was really important that we like put things in place to be like, okay, if one does fly off, have we got the right setup so we know where they're going to be, we can all keep an eye on it, we can get it back and sort of start fresh. So
it was nice when we released them though, because yeah, we've got this wooden house as well, like an insect house,
and it looks like a ladybird. It's really cute.
Yeah, it's really nice. But for a couple of weeks they stuck around, a few of them as well.
Yeah, so we went to a garden and we could see them and we're like, oh look, they're still here. I mean, I haven't seen them in a while,
they're gone
so
now.
they're gone, but
I don't know what they do. Maybe they hibernate. I don't know.
Or maybe they don't actually have a very long lifespan in that.
I know how to look after them as pets, and that's as far as it goes.
And did you guys name them while you had them?
No, because they're not actually that easily like distinguishable in that sense. So like I would have loved to name them. That's so the sort of thing I would do if I could. If I knew that I could identify each one every time, I absolutely would have named them.
Another thing we learned about them though is there's different like species of ladybirds. So all the ones in the film you'll notice are 2-spot ladybirds, which I didn't know was a thing. They do have like a proper scientific name. I'm afraid I can't say that.
Ladybirds, not quite,
you know, but yeah, they're all 2-spot ladybirds. But the spots on all the ladybirds, if you look really closely, like they look like 2 love hearts. And I didn't know that's what you know, we were going to be working with the 2-spot ladybirds. But I think it worked perfectly because they look a bit different too, and they add to that unique feel.
I didn't notice the love heart thing.
Wow. Okay. Nah, I didn't know that either. So that's news to me, and maybe everyone else in the chat as well. I'm not too sure.
There's going to be just a sudden influx of ladybirds with pets now.
Well, one thing I wanted to say about the ladybirds I was really impressed with as well, and this could also be used with the cinematography and stuff as well from Joshua here, is when we get the scene where Oliver's character Jack and Saffron together, and it's that intimate scene in the bedroom as such. It's like the lighting goes from the black kind of like the backboard to like red lighting all of a sudden, and I was like, wow, that's really cool, like kind of like ladybird kind of colors in the lighting effects. So that's one thing I noticed anyway. But yeah, Joshua, I want to ask you, so how do you get involved in the project, or how do you become like director of photography?
So as I said before, me and Oscar have known each other for a few years. We met through Oscar submitting some scripts originally, and then we collaborated on a feature script at one point. And yeah, we just try to, sort of get somewhere where we could make something. And I've been busy with my own film, and then this came up, perfect timing. And yeah, Oscar called me up, went for a coffee. Next thing I know, I'm signed on to DP this film.
But like Mike mentioning, like I'll pass this on to Josh in a second, but like mentioning what you said there about the ladybirds mirroring that intimate scene. Like me and Josh, we didn't know we were capturing that, did we, at the time? No.
Really? Not at all. No. It was literally just a case of we choose obviously where we're shooting and what we're doing. So we wanted them all over the lamp. Jade would come over, dot them about. You can't control them. You can't be telling them like where to go, what to do. So it was literally just a case of be there for 10, 15 minutes, sometimes more. People freaking out. They're flying off, trying to grab them, bring them back, shooting them, just trying to capture whatever's going on, whatever's interesting. And then, they just happen to be getting it on at the right
time. Perfect timing.
Yeah, it was Josh Paynes that discovered that in the edit. So well done, Josh, for finding it in there and structuring those shots to make that work, because it's really, really beautiful. I just love that scene so much. I'm really proud of it.
Right. Yeah. Really, really cool scene. And now one thing I wanted to ask you guys is this film location of this house. Is that someone's house, or did you rent that out, or?
Our house. So we actually bought and moved into a house in October. And then we
left it empty for the film until April.
Because we were always sort of like, I think we were already in like little chats of like we were going to actually make it and that sort of thing. We hadn't, like in October, we hadn't quite gotten as far as fully sort of being in plans yet, but we knew that at some point we were going to make it. And also we moved into a fairly big house, so we don't obviously have anything to fill certain rooms with yet. So we were like, let's just leave things pretty basic in certain areas. And then when the time the filming came around, it just made it so much easier, because we were like, well, we already have the perfect place to do it. I mean, I think the main things were just like making sure that some of our like more personal stuff, like pictures of us and stuff, obviously were out of the way, so they didn't get a random picture of us too in their house.
And fun fact about the front door, our front door was not red, it was white. And then me not doing enough research, went and got some red paint to paint it, and I bought wood paint, but it was far too late by the time I realized. And
you should probably mention it's not a wooden door.
Yes, it's not a wooden door, it's like a plastic coated door. And I put this wood paint on, and I did quite a heavy brush of paint. I'm not a painter. And I was like, that's not spreading. And I couldn't figure out why. So I carried on. I thought, I'll figure it out. If I keep going, it'll maybe, this paint doesn't spread very far. I don't know. And then I kept going, and I was about halfway through, and I was like, nah, this isn't right. And then I just thought, I'll just run my fingers down the door. What does it feel like? And I was like, wait, that's not wood. And then it was like this, and then it was this moment, but like it was too far gone. I had to finish this door. So I just absolutely smothered paint on, coat after coat after coat, until it looked even and presentable enough. I mean, everyone said it would peel off this summer, but I think there's so much paint on there that hasn't happened.
No, definitely not. And that's a cool fact. Jamie, you had a question there before from Ryan. RWR movie reviews, who is going to be reviewing the movie tomorrow on his channel. But so basically, Oscar, he asks, how was finding the sites to film? Was it easy to find the film? So you confirmed it was your house. But I was saying to Jamie before this stream, and maybe Joshy, Oliver, and Jamie can comment on this, is was it like a lot of nosy neighbors watching what you guys were doing, or people peeping out the next door window being like, what are those guys shooting ladybirds for? And you know, like
yeah, we definitely had that. You know, we had the neighbors looking out the window and we were doing the garden scene. And when we're doing, and when we're doing some of the exterior shots of the house, after that second scene, you know, people speaking to us in the car park, asking what we're doing. But like in terms of getting the locations, obviously the house was easy because that was ours, and the rest we just went and did it.
And
you
hoped
know,
for the best.
it was one of those.
Yeah.
Like, we went to the centre of Gloucester, and like that alleyway is just off Gloucester Cathedral. So
Okay.
you know, we went late on a Sunday. That was on our second day, and we went late, so the shops would be closed. There wouldn't be many people about, so we shouldn't run into much disruption. But you know, it was just that case of just having a go. And like the canal scene, for example, we just had to time it right, so there was no people walking past in shot. You know, it took longer, and we fell massively behind doing that canal scene for those reasons.
Right.
But it was just being patient, and you know, if the cops come, run.
Great advice. That was one of my questions. There wasn't too many people by the water there. You know what I mean? Like, how did you time that for making sure no one was around or saying, you know, oh, what are you guys doing in sticky beaking? So yeah,
3 hours of
just
waiting.
timing. Yeah.
3 hours of waiting, 60 takes.
Oh gosh.
No, joking.
The crazy thing is with it, it's like we only had like 6 or 7 takes, didn't we, Josh? You think about that?
Yeah, probably about 7 or 8. Yeah, something like that.
But we didn't have like, you know, this was very low budget, this film, you know, just collaborative off our own backs. So we had no radios either to contact the actors right down the end. The signal on our radio mics for the sound guy, Elliot, like didn't stretch far enough. So he had to hide behind the fencing that you can see on the right and walk along with them. So, you know, that's another little behind the scenes fact. But yeah, but then really when we got to the edit, because it was so windy as well, we were really struggling, and we only had 1 take we could use. But this is when I did the sound mix. There was a guy on that boat playing music really, really loud. So I had to go and steal the sound from the other takes and basically just line it up, which was a long job. But you know, it was just a case of we had that 1 take that was visually pleasing and making it work in post. Really, that classic fixing it in post, which we tried to avoid, but there's always something.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask Bailey about this one. So when you're doing that scene with Saffron's character Isla, and you guys are walking down that, as Oscar was saying, that kind of Gloucester like alleyway kind of thing, and then you know, obviously you're like, oh, you know, let's try here, for example. Were you basically walking into a shop that was closed with a shutter down at that point?
Yeah, pretty much. So we had there was lots of little shops, and then we just kind of walked to the door and then just kind of pressed ourselves against it so we weren't in the shop.
Wow.
The magic of cinema.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why the bush is there on the side, so they're hiding like this behind the bush.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty much.
Okay. Well, I want to move over to Oliver. So Oliver, can you tell us a little bit like how you got involved in this project? Did you have to like send in like a self-tape audition, or how did it come around?
So it's a bit unusual actually. So a year before this project, I auditioned for Cycles, the movie that you reviewed.
Right.
And I sent in my self-tape, and I met Oscar, and he gave me the usual promise. Not this time, but we'll get back in touch with you if something else comes up.
This was the best, like one of the best self-tapes I've ever seen too. And like till this day, I don't think it will really ever get beaten. It's a fantastic self-tape. And like Mike, you'll know because you've seen Cycles. You know the scene where they're talking through the door?
Yes.
Ollie created that in his bedroom and had all the shots and angles from the script. And it's immense. It's immense.
They're shamelessly keen. Anyway, I did that. But I got the promise, and I was like, yeah, sure, right, classic. And then I got an email from Oscar and Jade, and they said that due to scheduling, the actor they had for Jack had to pull out, and so I auditioned. I think a couple of us auditioned, and they were kind enough to give it to me. And so I think about 2 weeks in from the shoot. I got the green light, and we started working pretty solid from then on out. And yeah, so it was a bit of a rush, but he's to this day the first director to come through on the "I'll get back to you" when there's another thing.
Yeah, that was a huge credit to Ollie as well for taking the role like 2 weeks before shoot, and then we had to like cram in extra rehearsals, and like it was all video call rehearsals. He had obviously never met most of us in person before, not Saffron either. So they literally met on the first shoot day. So yeah, massive credit to Ollie for joining in so soon and nailing it, even though he didn't have much time.
You wouldn't know it.
No.
No.
Yeah, there's a lot of comments praising you there, Oliver, and your performance. So yeah, well done.
Thank you very much.
I also just wanted to pop this one up real quick because I thought this was quite funny to do with Red. I want part 2 of this movie, but the plot is about his character trying to get the orgasm.
I would love to see
that was great.
Red would really enjoy that.
Little do you know, that's the next one.
That's the next script, Oscar. That's the next one. Speaking of script, we had a comment from Sophie who asked, what was the inspiration behind that? Is that a personal, is there a personal reason for you writing that script?
I'll start. You go. Well, yes, Harmon is 2 of us, isn't it? But go on.
Okay, I said this bit.
This dynamic that everyone has to deal with.
So, like, I guess like, the main standout part is like the long-term relationship thing. So me and Oscar have been together since we were 14, so like 10 and a half years. And we're married, and we're like in our early, like, well, mid-20s now. He's 25, I'm 24. So like that sort of long-term sense was kind of very personal to us, in the sense of you don't really often see films or anything like that about sort of like young long-term relationships. So that was kind of a big plug on that. And whilst obviously this story directly isn't us, like I think every relationship that's that long term obviously has its troubles, and you know, you're questioning what's the right thing to do, you know, but luckily for us, we have always just kept fighting that, and we're still here now. That's a bit cringe, but true. And so yeah, it was just kind of making a film that almost like represents us, and also lots of other people that don't really necessarily get to see this long-term relationship on screen. So yeah, that's
and like I think, like you touching on what you said about like long-term relationships with young people, I think love's changing so much every single day, and the way people perceive love and how the new generation deals with it. And I think it just gets harder and harder for people to love and to be loved. And the world gets more cynical by the day. And I just think it's so important for young couples to be given the same respect regardless of age. And whilst, you know, that area of this film, you know, it won't be for everybody, because, you know, people see love differently, and that's absolutely fine. You know, we all see it differently. But I think, you know, young couples and young long-term relationships should be given the same respect. And that's a big part of everything I write. You know, it's a theme of cycles. It's in this, and it was really special to write this together, wasn't it? And to touch on that theme.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's like a very key part to it as well, because you guys are right. And now that I think about it, is like young couples don't get represented that much, because it's usually like, oh, they've just met in college, or someone's just moved to town, or, you know, whatever the case should be. So yeah, definitely saw like some inspirations from cycles in here, which was nice to see. Jamie's just pulled up here. We've got a question from Josh. He says, how long did it take to write the script? Would love to know, as I'm going to be writing my own short film.
I don't think it took very long. I think it was like
well, we wrote it last summer and then sat on it for a while because we didn't have time to do it. What was the cycle?
I think we're also quite impatient people, in the sense that if we're going to write, we're going to like kind of really hit it until like
it's done.
Yeah, we're not the sort of people that will write a bit and then maybe like a week or so later we'll come back to it. Like, we're very much
obsessive.
We will almost spend like as many hours in that day writing until we physically just get either sick of each other or like sick of reading our own words. So I think it was probably within a couple of days, but that was like sort of like first draft, and then obviously we made some edits. But yeah,
like I would say we wrote the treatment in max of 2 days, like the plan for the film, and then the script we probably got the first draft out within like 3 days, and then it was just a case of chipping away and keep editing. And like something I always do as a director is like when the cast comes on board, we go over the script, we dissect it, we change lines to fit actors' voices and their dialects better. So like it gets a whole new draft once we enter prep and pre-production as well. So no, like that, the film that you saw today, you know, that wasn't our final draft. That was the final draft of ourselves and the cast.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I was going to ask, well, for both Oliver and Bailey, what Oscar's just said there about changing the script. Did you guys notice many changes when you came on board, or did you want to do like a different accent and you couldn't do that?
I think like for me, it was the most wonderful part of doing this project was that we had so much freedom, and like often in screen work, like especially with things that are done on a shorter time scale, you get the script, you learn it, and then you just turn up, you might run it once, and then that's it, you're off. Where we had lots of rehearsals, and Oscar really took the time to just sit with us. Like we had lots of Zooms with Oscar and Jade every week. Pretty much every week, I think it was.
Yeah,
and we would
like
sit and we'd dissect the script, and like if there was anything, we'd discuss our characters as well, really create their story and who they were as a person. And then from there, some bits were like, oh, I don't think they'd say that, or they wouldn't word it like that. And it'd just be minor changes here and there. But overall, it was written really great to the character. So it stayed pretty the same in my scenes. What about you, Ollie?
Yeah, I think I had a different experience coming in quite late, but I mean, credit to everyone. Even in that stage, it wasn't like, okay, well, we're in this situation. This is how the guy before did it. This is how you got to do it, because this is how Bailey and Saffron have prepared for it. It was still very like, okay, well, it's a different project now. You've got something different to give, and how can we work around it? And everyone was really adaptable. Everyone changed, and I think even though I had a shorter time, I was still afforded the same freedom that Bailey and Saffron were in kind of finding that character, finding that truth. And well, hopefully it came out, but it definitely really impacted the way I felt about the performance and the way I felt performing it. It was really kind of my truth. It made it more personal to me, and I think that came out.
Right. Yeah, no, that's just a cool experience to hear about you guys and how you guys had those changes in the script. I want to ask you a little bit about all you guys. So what was it like working with Saffron? Because she's not here today, so we can't ask her. But, you know, like Oscar, like how did she get casted? That's a question for you. Ollie, I want to know what it was like working with Saffron, and the same for Bailey as well.
Yeah, so for me, I found Saffron on Instagram, actually. She used to put just self-tapes that she was doing on her profile. And then, I don't know when I saw it, probably like a year ago, sometime last year, maybe early last year. And I just saw this tape she did. I just thought it was awesome. I thought it was really good. Showed so much potential. And her style it seemed to naturally fit the sort of dialogue I write. So it kind of planted that seed in my head. But I was on cycles at the time, you know, I didn't have any roles that would be suitable. And then when it came to casting this, it just came to my mind. It's like, Saffron, who I've got on it, because I followed her as well. So she still came up every so often when she shared something. So it was always like relevant in my mind. And then, but obviously I didn't know her. I didn't really know what she was capable of. So it was a case of like reaching out to her. We sent her a message, didn't we? And just said, hi, we think you could be a really nice fit for this role. Asked her if she'd like to audition. And then she sent in a self-tape, which was really, really good, which was so great to see as well, because like I'd been manifesting this thought, but like I didn't know if it was going to work or she would fit. You know, you never know until you try it. But the self-tape was fantastic. And then, we did a callback and some chemistry tests with her. And despite it being her on-screen debut and having like not much experience, it didn't come across that way. She was really driven. She had so much passion for the role and for the job. And we just all cling together like glue. And we're all just like great mates now. And it was so nice for something like that. The power of the internet, you know, when it goes wrong. There's so many downsides to the internet, but when something like that happens and you create a connection like that, and like all of us here, it's really special. So yeah, props to Saffron for being brilliant.
Right. Yeah, she's fantastic in the role, and you wouldn't have thought it was like an on-screen debut. But she nailed the chemistry really well. And so I'm going to go over to Bailey first. So what was it like working in those scenes with Saffron? And then you said you guys became close friends.
Yeah, it was great. Well, that's also kind of how I got the role. Like Oscar got in touch with me, and I was like, oh yeah, okay. And then I was lucky enough to get a chemistry read from that, and obviously my scenes with Saffron, so I did my chemistry read with her, and yeah, we just really hit it off. Like the thing with chemistry reads, it either goes well or it doesn't, and there's not much you can do about that. It's just people and who gels with who, but yeah, we really got on. And I remember we finished the call for the audition and I was like, oh, I really hope I get this. I'd really like to work with these guys. That'd be great. And then Saffron said the same thing, which was really kind. And then in our rehearsals, we just really hit it off. She's a phenomenal actress. I can't believe it's her debut. And being like an outsider, seeing her in early rehearsals and then like towards shooting, like the way that she grew and her adaptability and the way to take on notes is just really great. Like she's so brilliant. She's so humbled as well. Yeah, really great to work with. Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't much acting to be her friend. So yeah, it was really
No, that's awesome. And Oliver, how about you? So what was it like working with Saffron, and obviously when you guys have that intimacy scene, like what was that like? And Jade, did you have to step in much in that scene?
I think she was really kind of a massive rock and a really steady thing coming in, and she knew it really well. Her preparation was second to none. She knew that film back to front, and she was a real kind of milestone. Like I could measure myself against her, and I could run stuff up against her, and kind of find my feet with her as a bit of a crutch, and I really valued that, and that's something you don't get, a kind of selflessness, especially in an actor who's doing this for the first time, and so it was a real pleasure in that regard. The intimate scene, I think it helped. Neither of us had done anything like that before, and it was stressful. It was something that we were both nervous about, but we had a really good dialogue about it. We had a conversation about it, and we were just open. We talked about it. We tried to find where the kind of the lines were, so that we didn't go anywhere near those. And obviously Jade helped a lot. And I think it was a mutual respect, both as performers and people, that made that an experience that I look back on, kind of looking back at that scene and going, doesn't that look great? Didn't it come out well? Doesn't that tell what we wanted to tell? Rather than saying, God, that was stressful, or that made me so panicky and I didn't like it. And I'm really glad it came out the way. And that is completely down to Saffron and her preparation and her maturity, and obviously Jade and her help in that sense. But yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I was going to ask, so in that scene, and that scene where it's kind of like just like a still shot and it's like the ladybirds on your back, how did you guys do that?
I think is in the sense, so we had our behind the scenes guy Lee Morgan. He has like a little 3D printer at home, so he 3D printed us some ladybirds of like various sizes, and it literally got down to I had little sticky glue dots and I just glue dotted them onto Ollie's back and just hoped that it would stay, and then luckily they all did stay. They actually stayed on very well. I was surprised. I think I used a couple glue dots because I really didn't want them to come off, especially considering we obviously started with the shirt and then had the process of taking the shirt off. I didn't know if they would knock or anything, but no, it worked well.
How did they actually feel on your back, Ollie? I've never asked you that.
He's still got them now.
Yeah. It's just to peel it off. To be honest, I wasn't that concerned about the.
He was distracted with other things.
Right. Going on in my head. I was thinking about my performance. I wasn't thinking.
Of course. So professional, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
So one of my questions, which was also in the, I'll pop it up here.
Ooh.
So what was everyone's favorite part? And then my part two to that was, what was the most challenging part? I know that Oscar and Jade mentioned about managing the ladybugs and stuff, but what else beyond that was challenging?
Okay, you.
Us.
Obviously. Can always count on Oscar.
What was my favourite part? I think, to be honest, like when you're working on low budget film, you know, and it's a collaborative artistic exploration. I mean, you're up against it anyway. You know, we did this film in 2 days. This is not a 2-day film. It was not a 2-day script. You know, we needed at least 3 to 4 days, really. But we were late finishing every day. But we also had a massive laugh on set, and we're just having so much fun. So it's really down to that, you know.
Right.
But I think my favorite part of just how much everyone comes together, like, we've built such a nice team of people that you know, are filmmakers that come together for these projects, and when it gels on set like it did on this, it's just so special. And the fact that everyone has a voice and is happy to share their voice and wants to, it's just, yeah, really beautiful. And like the film is down to that. It's down to these relationships. It's down to it being a really safe space, no one judging anybody. You know, we're a family, we're all in it together. And, you know, that was definitely, it was just a really special experience, and I'm never going to forget it. But I guess the most challenging part, just getting us all to stop having a laugh, to be honest, you know, to stay on track. But yeah, you know, there wasn't much challenging for me. I believed in my team. I know the others have got some challenges, and definitely Joshy had some challenges. I really put him up against it with some of those visuals. But no, for me, it was a joy.
Nice.
Yeah. I everyone's favorite thing is going to basically be the same, but like, I definitely think just the whole gang on the crew, like we had such a blast. And like, like Oscar said, it was such a busy crammed schedule, but yet we still managed to make so much time to just mess around and be stupid and just have a laugh about like silly things. And yeah, I think sometimes we were like an hour and a half behind purely because we were just chatting, blabbing all the time, like chatting, having a laugh, being silly, like messing around. And I think that's what my favorite part is. Yeah, literally. It's just like, I think like that obviously just made everything feel so warm, and like we all just felt like this big little, that doesn't really make sense, but like a little family. And yeah, we all just got on so well. And I think that's probably my biggest take, even though we literally like wrote the whole thing, finally got our film out there, but that's probably not my favorite part. The people we met and challenges, I'd say again.
Yeah, and the fact that like event like this one, you know, and like last night in Blackpool, you know, we've just become such a unit now. And like literally yesterday we met up to go to Blackpool at like 6:45 in the morning. And we did not stop talking until we went to bed at 4 a.m. You know, and our voices are all a bit sore, you know, and that's, you know, that's what it's about. Like we just all get on so well, and you can't plan for that, you know. It just happened to chance, and it's really beautiful.
Right. Yeah, I can imagine. Like it just seems like you guys are all like a close knit unit as it is. So I can't imagine what it was like on set. So yeah, so that question what Jimmy was asking about favorite part of film. I want to go to Joshy next, because Oscar was saying about the visuals was a bit tough. So yeah, Josh, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, there's a few. I mean, obviously, as Oscar said, like it is a low budget, so and there's a lot of very ambitious ideas in the short. And obviously, one of them being the Ladybirds. That was just hectic. That was crazy. Really fun. But yeah, it was crazy. Mainly because like there is a way that you could just shoot it and have everything in focus, and you can't really go wrong. But it needs to feel like quite dreamy, and we needed that really deep focus. So, and we're on like 100mm lens as well on it. So, trying to go around and capture these little tiny bugs flying about and moving about really fast, and trying to keep that focus was really tricky. But another one was the intimate scene, the lighting and stuff, and that was again very ambitious with the idea of the ladybirds kind of going over the lamp, and that kind of being the reason why the lights come up. But then it's also this like deep passion and lust that these two all of a sudden have for each other, and all these kind of ideas, and just trying to come up with ways on the day, because as things happen on when you're filming, things go wrong, things don't go to plan. So we ended up putting on one of the LEDs as red as it could go, and then having the camera assistant siren just going a lot, like basically flagging it up and down to make that like flashing. Yeah, very high tech. Yeah. but it works, and that's the magic of this low budget filmmaking. Like you think on the spot and you come up with these ideas as quickly as possible, and
right.
And yeah, and again, like other things that I've enjoyed is just working with everyone. Everyone just got on really well. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun, isn't it? It's filmmaking.
Yeah.
Wrong. I love it. If anything, I wanted more days, not just because it would have been great to have more days to film, but it would have spend more time filming with these guys. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I mean, a quick question for Oscar, very quick, and then I'm going to go over to Bailey. If you did have more days to film, like, you know, you said you wanted like 3 or 4 days, would you have made this film in more than 13 minutes, 14 minutes, or was that always the intended runtime?
No, it wasn't that the kid. Like we did it in 2, and I got what I wanted in 2. You know, there was no corners cut. It's just we were so up against it, and it was seriously difficult to get it done. Like there wasn't, you know, there was no room to. Looking at the schedule, it was kind of terrifying on the call sheets each day. But you know, it was just like work together. We all believed in it so much, and it was like, right, heads together, let's get this done. So nothing would have changed with more days, but it wouldn't have been so difficult.
Nothing would have changed. We had more time and could relax a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
But then we would have probably done more joking around and still been behind. So
Yeah.
we made it.
Yeah, when an assistant director has to join us one day, they are not going to like it, are they?
Well, Jamie just pulled up a good question there, and that was from Ryan from RWR Movie Reviews, and he says, was there any scene that was cut from the final cut of the movie?
I think that's the best to pass that question to Bailey.
Yeah. It was, do you know what? That was also my probably that's in that scene that didn't make it into the film is probably where my challenge lies, because we had a kind of like a mini scene, I suppose, before our scene going down the alleyway, where Saffron and we had like a little conversation, and opposite was a pub, and the amount of people that were going, "What are you doing? What's going on? Or what's you filming?" Or like people just walking straight in front of us. Like it was so difficult to try and stay focused. Like thankfully it wasn't like an intense scene, it was just light-hearted and comedic. So can't imagine what it'd been if it would have been like, you know, like the final scene of the film in that setting.
Come on, Bailey, cry now.
Yeah, that was probably my biggest challenge, having the scene opposite the milkshake shop. But yeah, it wasn't in the film in the end. So
no, but following on from that point, the deleted scene will be released on our social media in the next couple of weeks, because it's really great. It's like it's a brilliant scene, and Bailey is so good as Red in it. And we will also, like following on from that, be releasing an extended cut of the breakup scene, which is an extra 2 minutes, which is really beautiful. It's gorgeous, and it was heartbreaking to cut it in the edit, but it was too weighted at the end, and the film wasn't balanced. So yeah, basically we went back to the first draft we ever did and recut the film to the first draft in the edit, which was difficult because obviously it wasn't delivered like the first draft. So it was just magic by Josh Paynes in the edit to make it work. But there will be the deleted scene that Bailey's in will be released on social media, as well as the extended breakup scene. So look forward to that.
Yeah, I'm certainly intrigued in Bailey's deleted scene.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Right.
Yeah.
And then finally, I want to go to Oliver with the question that Jamie had as well, is about, you know, what was your favorite part of filming? What was your most challenging aspect also?
Yeah. Well, just talk about that extended scene. I think I get about 3 or 4 extra tears out. So,
That was your favorite part of filming.
Yeah, it really was. My favorite part of filming, and as well as everything that everyone's already said, was right at the end, the credits. They go on a lot longer. It's effectively, I was on my knees outside. It was the last thing we shot. I think it was something ridiculous, like 11 o'clock at night. And I was taking these leaves out, taking the mud out, taking the rocks out, and just kind of emptying this box. And it was a bit of it's a bit soppy, but it was a bit of an honor to be the person to kind of finish the job. I kind of swept in the last minute, taking all the credit. But it was nice to be the person. And my favorite part was just being the person just to empty it, to finish it, to close it out, and be the last image of what I think is a really great short. The hardest thing is got to be kind of the sense of responsibility to live up to the effort that everyone else put in. I think everyone probably felt it. There was a real sense that everyone was giving 110%, and you wanted to be the person to give a little bit more. You just didn't want to be the person to not give enough. And I think that was probably the hardest thing for me, just trying to keep up with these maniacs, creative lunatics. But yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I've got one question for Oscar, and Jamie, I'm not sure if you have other questions as well. But Oscar, for anyone like myself, is there any other Easter eggs in this short movie that's referenced to cycles?
No, there isn't. Sadly, that would have been cool. We all know we have like a bunch of Easter eggs in cycles, don't we? But
Oscar.
I'm sorry.
I personally would have loved to see to have like cycles.
Oh, there you go.
You know.
To be honest, no. I mean,
that's a missed opportunity.
It is, yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any Easter eggs of anything in
I
there.
guess one thing. Oh no, I was going to say because like they had just moved in, so nothing was empty. But I suppose later on in the film there could have been something, but we just didn't.
No, so I guess there's none, to be honest, which is very sad.
I'm trying to think really hard in case we've just like subconsciously done something. And
We'll just make one up quickly. Everyone's very disappointed. Yeah.
Yeah. And Jamie, do you have any other questions?
No, that was it. Yeah, no? And I've got no more new ones popped up here. So yeah, everybody's been answered.
All right, cool. Well, the last question I've got for everyone, and I'll go through all you guys one by one. It's basically what projects are you? Well, firstly, Oscar, different question. Is where can everyone watch Love with Black Spots?
Yep. So Love with Black Spots will release on Sophie.tv tomorrow. That is SOFY.tv. It is a short film streaming service. You can rent the short film for 99p, or you can get a 30-day free trial to check it out, and loads of other amazing short films. Sophie TV is like the home of short films, so it's great, and it's an honor to be on the platform. And I think it's going to be a really nice place for the film. So that's where to check it out from tomorrow.
Awesome. And the link to that website is down below in the description box, also after this stream. So please go rent the short movie or take the free trial, whichever one you choose to do. Go support Oscar and Jade and their vision that they've made and all these guys. And then I want to just fire it over to Joshy first. Joshy, so what are you working on besides Love with Black Spots?
So I've got my feature directorial debut, Boy in the Corner, hopefully coming out either the end of the year or early next year. That's like my main focus and kind of thing that's going on. A lot of work. Looking forward to it finally being out and people being able to see it.
Right. I've seen it and it's fantastic.
And me.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Thank you guys. That's really it. And obviously in between that I've worked on other things as on camera and editing and stuff, but this main one is Oscars.
Right. But yeah, I know you guys were saying before in stream that you guys are like working on something maybe in the background right now or a future project.
Yeah, so there is, I won't say much about it now, but there is a big project on the horizon. It is my second feature film. It is called Melodrive. I'm currently crewing up and casting, so there'll be more on that soon. But if you want to hear lots more about Melodrive, there's a little bit of information on IMDb, so you can check it out on there. And there's going to be loads of updates between now and the shoot next year, all on our social media, OJ Productions. So yeah, that's where it's going to be. But not loads to say about it now. We got time, but that's what's happening.
Right. Well, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to that as well. One question I want to ask then, Oscar. I know you can't say much, but are we going to see more of Oliver, Saffron, Bailey in that, or both the Henrys at all?
Throughout my whole career, no matter what project it is, wherever any of these fabulous people will fit, I will have them wholeheartedly. It's filmmaking's one of it. Like Bailey said it brilliantly earlier, as an actor and as a director, when you're casting, it's all about who clicks and chemistry. But, you know, I have so much faith and belief and trust in these people from this film, and just knowing them as human beings, that whenever the time is right, I'm all in with those guys if they're all in too. So, you know, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome to hear. We'll keep an eye out for that as well. So, Bailey, I want to go to you next. What are you working on right now?
So, funnily enough, I have worked with Oscar since Love with Black Spots. We produced a photo series together that I starred in and Oscar directed.
Chains of Comfort?
Yeah, Chains of Comfort. So that has just kind of been released online and also in hardbook copy. And we've co-produced it. So we're just putting out feelers to a couple of places and just kind of going on the producing journey with that a little bit more. And then I've just done some stage show.
Uh-oh. No.
Break for the time being before event work. Did I go?
Yeah, carry on.
You're back.
I'm back. So just had a busy summer doing some shows, which was great fun. And then the seasons are upon us, Halloween and Christmas. So got some performance jobs and some event work going on there. So that's kind of what's to come until the new year.
Nice. But yeah, well, that sounds awesome. And for anyone who is interested, I will leave the link to Bailey's Instagram down below as well, so you can check out Bailey. And Oliver, finally, what are you up to after this?
So after this, it's back to editing my old faux feature that I did filmed about a year ago. It's more of a less advanced thing, but it's more of just a bit of a challenge to raise money for charity, and I think that'll be coming out in Christmas. And then in terms of acting, I'm throwing myself into a course, trying to train up a bit, advance, and then go again after that. So hopefully we'll be back reviewing other things in the future.
Right. Yeah, well, very nice, and I'm excited for what all of you guys have got in the pipe work in the future. Definitely go follow Joshie Lee, Bailey, Oliver, and of course Oscar and Jade and OJ Productions as well. Jimmy, do you have any final words?
No, I loved it. Everybody else in the comments loved it as well. Yeah, so good reception.
Right. Yeah, a lot of love has been spread in this live stream, so I just want to thank everyone who's been watching live or who watches after the fact. Again, please go support this short movie. All these guys put in extra hard work to deliver it, and it is available tomorrow, and the link is in the description box down below. But yeah, Oscar and Jade, just thank you, and Joshie, Bailey, and Oliver, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here and allowing us to have this premiere. It's been awesome, and I'm really looking forward to your next feature, Oscar.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, always, Mike. You are in the OJ family now. You are one of us. Jamie Lee, you're right here too. You're part of this.
Yeah, from afar. Yeah, I'm loving you guys from afar.
You're taking us worldwide, Jamie Lee. So we can't let go of you, can we? Honestly, guys, thank you. This has been a blast. It's been so much fun, and it's so nice to give the release something really special like this. And to hear and see all those lovely comments from everybody was amazing. Just thank you. You can see, I hope, how much this means to all of us. And so getting that response and that reception too is really, really meaningful. So thank you again, Mike and Jamie Lee, for hosting this really special event.
No
yeah, cheers, guys. One last thing I just want to say is, Oscar, quick question. Is the Love of Black Spots, is it going to be shown at any other kind of short mini festivals or anything like that?
No, so due to the prep on the new feature Melodrive, which is starting up now, we've got a few weeks left of the promo on the Love of Black Spots. So that includes loads of cool content coming out. There's a behind the scenes featurette coming out, which shows the whole making of process next week. There's the deleted scenes and extended scenes. So loads of great content to keep following Love of Black Spots. But we've had our fun with it. We premiered it in Bristol in July. We had an absolutely amazing, crazy night that got a little bit out of hand, and then, as things do. And then, you know, we had the amazing festival in Blackpool last night. And then to top it all off, literally the cherry on top, we've had this great event. So once it's out tomorrow, it's in the audience's hands and it's up to them what they want to do with it.
Right. Get you. Yeah, so please go support Love of Black Spots, released officially tomorrow. And again, just thank you to Joshy, Bailey, Oliver, Oscar, and Jade for their time tonight, and my, of course, amazing co-host Jamie Lee from a different role. And yeah, until next time that we see you, we'll see you later.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.